Hello, everybody. Again, thanks for hanging out with us. Good to see you guys. So happy to be doing these things every week. Hope you guys are happy. Hope you guys are healthy. Having fun, as always, is the most important thing. And I'm really excited to show you guys to dive into a conversation and to show you how to make dangerous acting choices. Maybe it's the first time you're hearing about dangerous acting choices. Maybe you've been on the receiving end of dangerous acting choices, or just, people with some dangerous stuff going on, and you feel a little off balance. So welcome. Thanks for hanging out again on Thursday. And a big thank you and so much gratitude for Backstage for creating this series and for inviting me and all these other incredible Slate guests to speak with you guys every week. It is an honor. And I've been, as you guys know, been collaborating with Backstage for many years now. And you can read all of my articles, which are archived on Backstage. So thank you, Backstage, for everything that you guys do to take care of this incredible community. My name is Joseph Pearlman, and my studio, Perlman Acting Academy, we help actors launch their careers faster and reach Oscar potential on set. And at my studio, what we believe and what we know, but what we believe is you can launch your career faster and with less effort when you are lit up with fun. In fact, you guys can pretty much do anything you want in life when you're lit up with fun. And we have Zoom classes from Hollywood to anywhere in the world for beginning to celebrity level actors. And you guys are all invited to watch the acting transformations live from anywhere in the world. And you're invited to attend an audit in one of our awesome Zoom classes, including the master class, which is a small group of my celebrity and series lead level clients getting a workout on currently casting major film and TV auditions every week and their booked roles. These are actors that are starring in some of the biggest shows on Amazon, Netflix, films, recently released films. So be our guest and come and watch. And you just go to my website, which is josephpearlman.com, www.josephpearlman.com, and send us an email. And follow us on Instagram at Joseph Pearlman as well, Pearlman. And I like to share some exciting news and updates. One of the fun things that we do before all the classes is we have an accountability session with the actors. It's so important to have an accountability group of your peers, because what I like to talk about is how I started off is this. I asked you guys, how are you doing? How are you guys personally doing? Are you okay? Is it busy out there? Is it slow for you? We know things are really cranking. Production is slowly coming back up, but it has been it's been like some of the busiest couple of months for actors ever, even throughout the pandemic. So I just kind of want to know how everybody's doing. So I hope you guys are doing well. How are you guys doing? Is it busy for you guys? Is it slow for you guys? See, here are the things that never stopped. Writers' rooms never stopped. Development never stopped. Casting never stopped. In fact, it's picked up and ramped up. So there is a lot of exciting opportunity out there. One of the cool things which we did recently is at the studio, I hosted about 1,000-person Zoom event with my friend, celebrity manager Sarah Jackson. We had about 1,000 people attending. Sarah's one of the best managers in the world. She owns 7 Summits Pictures and Management and has launched some of the biggest careers in Hollywood. We recorded the event, and we're going to be sharing it with everyone who's reached out to schedule a free audit in one of our weekly Zoom classes. So welcome you guys to do that, and let's dive in. What is dangerous acting? Have you guys ever heard of that before? What is dangerous acting? Dangerous acting is having the bravery and ability to make dangerous acting choices. Dangerous acting is having the bravery and ability to make dangerous acting choices. Stella Adler said this once. I thought it was a very interesting quote. She said, "The talent is in the choices." The talent is in the choices. And I would add this, the talent is in the personality and the choices. I've spoken about this many times before, but your 90% of your personality is your success potential. That 90% of the performance is your personality. 90% of your success potential is your personality. And what are dangerous choices? And let's start with this. And one of the fun things that I get to do with you guys every week is clear the table off of a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of fear-based information, past actor to actor, and amongst some so-called industry gurus who maybe just decided to become industry gurus overnight. And I like to clear away that information. Most actors think that the character descriptions that you guys get, and even the scene descriptions, okay, are your acting instructions, and they never were. They are not. I'm going to say that again because this is really important. We're starting the conversation and sort of building up how to create performances that take people's breath away. That's dangerous acting. Your character description and what it says in the scene setup, are not for you to ignore, but they were never your acting instructions. They are not for you to obey, okay? Why are they not for you to obey? A lot of actors thought that that's what they should be doing because it said it. Why are they not for you to obey? Because it's the directions in the scene says it crying or comes in anxiously or holds a clipboard. That is part of a writer's pitch. It's part of a writer to show production. Here's an example of what this could be. Does that make sense? They're not your acting instructions. Your character descriptions were written oftentimes by breakdown services or casting for the purpose of helping you guys to understand the world of the piece, the style, how do people behave. It's important to know when you're auditioning or you're booked on a project, because I don't want you guys, there's no need to train actors to be professional auditioners. You should be working on booked role stuff, even if you don't have a booked role, scene study, just as much as audition material. And it's part of helping you to understand the style. So understanding how people behave is very important. Marlon Brando spoke of the importance of finding a way to do it that's never been done before. Find a way to do it that's never been done before. And if you are obeying the character descriptions, if you are thinking that on that cue I have to do that, and on that cue I have to do this, and because the character description said that I'm anxious, I have to come in with a lot of anxiety, you're going to do it the same way every other actor is going to be doing it. It's not going to be dangerous, and it's not going to stand out. Remember, in an audition, your job is to stand out without screaming, not to back off or to play it safe. Okay? Well, thank you, Siri. That's good that Siri's having trouble hearing me, but you guys probably aren't having trouble hearing me. Siri likes to participate in these conversations. So Marlon Brando talked about find a way to do it that's never been done before. What's the thing that everybody is going to do, and how do you do it in a different way? That's your job in an audition. And that's also your job on set as well, too, you guys, is not to do the cliche performance. Actors like Helen Hunt, Joaquin Phoenix, they talk about this all the time. One of the first things that you want to figure out is, how do I not want to do this? What is the trap? Clear your desk of the cliche choices. What have we seen before 100 times? Think of an interrogation scene, your typical broadcast network procedural, episodic procedural, and you're in an interrogation scene. How many times have we seen the same scene over and over again with the same choices? The defensive, overly defensive, nervous, anxious person being interrogated. And how interesting would it be to do the opposite of that, to find something that's against the grain of that? I want to ask you guys, a question, and I'm going to take a bunch of questions and later. What are some of the performances that have taken your breath away? Okay. I remember watching a lot of things have taken my breath away, but certain episodes of Breaking Bad, and feeling like I was going to literally hyperventilate because of the intensity of the acting and the writing. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? When you're watching something and your chest starts to get tight, you start to get breathless. Ben Kingsley, one of my favorite actors, tells an incredible story of when he was younger, going to the Royal Shakespeare Company. And I don't know if he was sneaking in or just going in, and he would go right up front and he would watch Laurence Olivier work and some other actors work, and feeling the performances were so intense, he felt like he was going to actually pass out because of the sheer intensity of the performances. Don't you guys strive to do that kind of acting? I mean, I hope so. It's like, why are we doing this? Why do we get up in the morning to do this? We weren't born to do what we think we're supposed to do, okay? Your job was never to please. And I'm going to say something here. Great casting directors, the truly great casting directors, never want you to please them. They only want great choices and great acting, and they want to meet you. They want to meet you. You guys are great. So you have to get out of this pleasing mindset. And I'm not just talking about auditions here, you guys. I'm talking about on-set booked work, theater, film, TV. Rule number one of any audition scenario is this: don't guess what you think they are looking for. Assume you are who they are looking for, and bring yourself to the piece with a brave and fun choice. You guys, why do we not want to guess what they're looking for? Anybody? We don't want to guess what they're looking for because they don't know what they're looking for. They've held this audition to find something that they had never thought of yet. Does that make sense? It was Deanna Vreeland. I've mentioned this quote before in past videos, former editor of Vogue. She said, "Show people what they didn't know they wanted yet." Show people what they didn't know they wanted yet. Deanna Vreeland discovered incredible people like Angelica Houston, Barbara Streisand, really interesting people. You guys will be rewarded for your courage and your bravery. Your success is directly related to your ability to make dangerous acting choices, both on set and in auditions and on stage, okay? Danger comes in all sizes and forms. But here's what's important. You have to practice how you play. This is one of the important things to creating dangerous level acting and guaranteeing a win in the audition room is practicing how you play. If you practice in a practice environment, then you are going to be in a practicing mode when you're playing, when you're in the arena of an audition or on set. Practice how you play. That means very specifically what we do before any of the actors work at the studio is we ask two questions. Context is so important. What are you working on and how do you want to work on it? Not this is a scene for an acting class, or I'm just doing a scene study piece with I'm going to break a vase and wear some slippers. And no, if you practice like that, then you're going to only get practice. Does that make sense? In a professional environment, what I'm asking is, what are you working on and how do you want to work on it? And the actors will say, even though they don't have an audition, they may be working on currently casting sides. They'll say, Joseph, I would like to do this as a callback via video audition, a live via video callback. Or I'd like to do it as a first read. We call it a pre-read audition. Or I'd like to do it as a chemistry read. Or I want to do it as an audition on tape. Or an audition on tape requested by producers. You guys, there's 15 different ways of auditioning. It's so important to be very specific about how you want to work. I want to do this as a scene study piece, not for an acting class. I want to do this as a scene study piece as if I'm going to shoot it this weekend for a booked role. After all, that's what scene study is, high-level scene study. The end is not for an acting class. The end is going to be for a booked role on a film or TV or theater. Does that make sense? So specify the context. Demand that the context be specific of how you're working, because if you don't have that audition or you don't have that booked role, simply getting into your practice environment, into your acting class and saying, "Hi, my name is Joseph and I am working on a booked role for a major feature film," those empowered words directly relate to your ability. Basically, your words become your reality. So you saying that gets you closer to that actually happening. Remember, I've said it before, how you feel is what you get. And this has everything to do with danger, okay? Don't practice in the safe environment where you're protected from the realities of, what it's like to be out there in the sort of professional world. Practice in a professional environment. Maybe it's a little bit more dangerous, but this is really important. I want to share with you one of my favorite quotes. I consider Joaquin Phoenix a dangerous actor. Do you guys? Every single thing he's ever done, from The Master to Joker, dangerous actor. And Joaquin Phoenix, I'm going to read you a quote from Joaquin Phoenix, and this is what he's saying. It's his quote. Quote, "I will get into a rut in a certain way that I say a line to the point where you just have to shake the bitch up and find something else because there's no energy, there's no life to it. I'm now trying to say at one point what I had said with some feeling, but now I'm just trying to copy it. It doesn't have anything behind it. So I told Paul Thomas Anderson, the director, this, and I've told it to every director I've worked with recently. I'm actively, consciously going to do very bad things with my choices, dangerous choices, you guys. I'm actively, consciously going to do very bad things with my choices in an attempt to take any pressure off of it, as if to say, I don't know what it's going to be." End quote. Joaquin Phoenix. I so love that quote. It is permission to not do the cliche choice, the prefabricated choice, to not do what you think you're supposed to do, but to take pressure off of it, to say, I'm going to misbehave with my choices. And it's beautiful, and it says everything. How many times have you guys ever felt that? You practice a piece, and then you try to repeat it, and it never works. Because guess what, you guys? You can't repeat something that once worked. You can never repeat a performance. The difference between good and great is this little bit extra. You want to know what it is? It's the ability to start every scene emotionally full and lit up. Does that make sense? And we want to be able to find that and access it in 1 second on the tip of our fingers. I call that the hook. And that's what we do in the acting classes. Every actor finds that hook, that trigger, that ramp up into the piece, and then we let it go. Think of great acting as this, you guys. We're mixing something up into a bucket, like a liquid, and it's a powerful liquid, and it's emotional. And we put all these ingredients into it, and we stir it up, and we set it on fire, or we freeze it, and then melt it. And then when we're ready to act, we dump that bucket out right at the top of a mountain. That liquid is going to drop out, and at that point, there is no more efforting. There is no more control. That liquid is going to go down the mountain a different way every time. So again, the difference between good and great, dangerous acting versus not dangerous acting. Are you starting every scene emotionally full, lit up with fun? Okay, remember we said that. You can launch your career faster and with less effort when you are lit up with fun, and every step of the process should be fun. I did a video on how to memorize faster with less effort in a way that's fun. Hopefully you guys have seen it. And if you want to see it, it's up on Backstage. And whenever I've been witness to dangerous acting, there's always been a quality of off balance, okay? The audience feels off balance because the actor is off balance. Remember what Joaquin Phoenix talks about is not wanting to know how it's going to go. I think he talked about, I want to walk into a courtroom scene as a lawyer. Joaquin Phoenix said this, and he said, I want to feel like this might not work out, not like I have it all figured out. I think with training, it's very comforting to feel like you have everything all wrapped up into a little ball, like everything's all set for you. You know what your beats are, but there's no spontaneity and there's no danger in that. All your work has to be pre-planted and then let go of. This is very important. Meryl Streep talks about this. Balling up your work and throwing it out the window before you start acting. That's responsible. That's responsible training. And so I said it, whenever I've been witness to acting, there's this off-balance quality. The actor is off balance, therefore the audience is off balance. And when an audience is off balance, their asses are 2 inches off their seats. They're lifted up. You're creating a ticket to talk, a ticket to a conversation. Here's a ticket to a conversation, not here's an answer. Think of great art, you guys. Great art doesn't give answers. It creates a ticket to talk. It pulls you in. When art gives an answer, we can say, oh, I get it. Okay, I've seen that. I can move on to the next thing. Bob Dylan said this. He said, an artist has to be careful never really to arrive at a place where he or she feels like they're at somewhere. You always have to be in this place of becoming. And as long as you stay in this place of becoming, you'll always be okay. I think that's such a beautiful thing that he said. And here's what I see as the biggest obstacle to dangerous acting. It's training that emphasizes the importance of always emotionally obeying the text. Emotionally obeying the text leads to cliche and boring acting choices, leads to the prefabricated stuff that we've seen before. In life, how often do we say everything that we feel in our animal hearts and animal souls? Anybody? We do not just say everything we feel all the time, not a lot. I want you guys to see acting as an art of putting forward your choices. What you put forward, what you spark up to the surface is what we mean and what we feel versus the words that we're saying. And that is the key to the kingdom of dangerous acting. What we feel and what we say are these two different things. And I think a lot of folks talk about the importance of doing justice to the writing. Of course you want to do justice to the writing. All of your incredible choices are grown off the petri dish of the writing. But that doesn't mean doing justice to the writing does not mean emotionally obeying the writing. I even was trained like that in conservatory. I went to some phenomenal conservatories when I was younger. And we were taught to let's make intentions and objectives choices based something on like what the author is suggesting. But that ignores in life that we don't do that in life. So why are we doing that in acting? I think you're going to not do justice to the writing if you emotionally obey the writing. Does that make sense? We want to put forward what we feel and what we mean. And you think of the text is coming out the back like boat wake, okay? If you're working in with certain playwrights like Samuel Beckett, well, a lot of that is very integral to the acting choices, but it's very few and far between. Most people are not Samuel Beckett and don't write like that. So emotionally obeying the text leads to cliche and boring acting choices. And I want to read you a really beautiful short email that J.J. Abrams wrote to my friend Annie Chang, who is an incredible actor, producer, and is one of the teachers at this studio. Annie competed for a series regular role in J.J. Abrams' last pilot, and she booked it. And J.J. Abrams wrote her a personal email explaining why she booked that role. And he said, quote, Annie, thank you for being the only one willing to take a risk in your audition. That was the one reason why we didn't need to see anybody else. Your performance was the only actor I wanted to show Showtime. So J.J. Abrams was basically telling Annie that he told Showtime that we are done with this casting process. This is our actor. Another story related to the show Barry. Producers Alec Berg and Bill Hader were interviewed on the casting process, and we're talking about casting Henry Winkler as one of the lead roles in that show. And they said this. It's like what Henry did in that audition wasn't at all what we were looking for. It was better. Okay, so you got to think about it like this. Remember, Dangerous acting it so relates to this Einstein quote that I've shared with you before. No problem can be solved using the same level of consciousness that created it. No problem can be solved using the same level of consciousness that created it. And that involves, I'm giving you guys permission, and I want you to give yourselves permission to make choices that were never found in the text. They were born from it. Whenever actors say, well, that doesn't, that choice, I don't know if that relates to the text. Well, who are you guys when you're dreaming? When you guys are asleep and when you are dreaming, the stuff that happens, it's all you, maybe, but does it relate to who you are in life? Those are the level of choices that I'm talking about. That's dangerous acting, is that like half the day or less than half the day, whatever it is for you, we spend our time in this upside down world where we may not even feel like ourselves, and we are living dangerously in our dream world. So this is not something that I'm just saying, make these crazy choices. This is who we are, you guys. We are these infinite, complex beings. So don't emotionally obey the text. I want to share a story about one of my favorite actors, Ron Perlman. No relation. He spells his name P-E-R-L, and mine is P-E-A-R-L. Ron Perlman, he is a tremendous body of work. You guys may know him recently from Sons of Anarchy and The City of Lost Children, Hellboy. And Ron Perlman told this really cool story. He said, when I was younger, I always felt like there were aspects of myself that were monstrous. And it scared me. It terrified me, that monstrousness. And I hid from it. I ran away from it. And you guys know Ron Perlman, there is something that is so intense and potentially monstrous and intense about, his vibe and his look in particular. And he said, and it wasn't until I embraced that monstrousness that my career exploded and took off. It wasn't until I embraced that monstrous element of myself that my career wasn't working until then. And then it started to work. And I don't know if you remember, but his first couple roles were he played a caveman in the movie Quest for Fire, and he played the Beast in Beauty and the Beast. Okay? Are there elements of your personality? I'm talking to you guys listening to this. Are there aspects? How do we get at this? How do we open the dark side of the moon of ourselves and then reflect it back to an audience? Okay? Are there aspects of yourself or your personality that terrify you? I'm asking you guys questions I want you to answer on your own. Are there aspects of yourself or your personality that terrify you? Are you running away from anything? What scares you? Is there something that you don't feel is beautiful enough, or you don't think that people should see because it's terrifying? These may be the very things, you guys, when brought out, when you bring it out and when you embrace it and when you radiate it and magnify it to an audience, these may be the very things that bring your acting to a dangerous level of performance and ignite your careers. And there's something very liberating in saying all this stuff that I'm hiding from, just blah, to just, there it is, okay? There it is. Put it on the table, vomit it up. And there's a liberation in that I want you guys to feel. Find the danger. There's nothing like the exhilaration of work that feels like it's teetering on the edge of danger and sanity. It takes an audience's breath away. You can never try to make dangerous acting choices. It comes as a byproduct of a lot of the things that I'm talking about. You guys, I'm going to say something here too that I think is very cool. Your best, most winning, dangerous choices are never going to be found in the text. They're going to be born from it. So don't look at the text and figure out what you think the dangerous acting choices are. Remember, never solve the problem of how to play her or him in your head. Does that make sense? Let go of your idea, because it's going to stifle your discovery. When you discover something genius, you're going to think, but shouldn't it be like this? You think of a life event where you plan everything out in your head and then you get to the place that you want to get to, whether it's a camping trip or a date or anything, and it doesn't match. It's never going to match what you thought in your head. and it's going to partially take you out of the experience and make you question whether what you're seeing is real or not. Stella Adler said this, and I've mentioned it before to you guys. Facts, F-A-C-T-S, facts are death to an actor until they're fed through imagination and become experience. So let go of your idea of how to play her. As Joaquin Phoenix said, for Joker, he had an idea of how to play that role. And he got to set and spent weeks shooting with Todd Phillips and said, this isn't working. My ego felt really good because I had a really cool idea of how to play him. But there's so much that we're discovering here that I want to use. So they had to scrap some footage. I believe they had to scrap some weeks of footage. So you can never try to make dangerous acting choices. Danger doesn't always have to be the fear of violence or bodily harm. It's what I've been saying. There's just as much danger present in watching an actor playing a character who is about to go up to the person they have a crush on and drunkenly profess their love for him or her. Does that make sense? It's emotional danger, you guys. It's the danger of bringing your personalities to everything that you guys do. That is dangerous. And at the end of the day, you're living life the way it was meant to be, on fire, lit up with fun, hot. That's what we're trying to do. I read you guys a really beautiful Baudelaire poem from Eugene O'Neill's Long Day's Journey into Night recently in one of the videos. And it talks about, like, in life, be always drunken, live life lit up. Drunken on what? Drunken on love, drunken on wine, drunken on virtue, whatever you want. But be always drunken, because when you guys live life lit up like that, that is the secret. That is the portal, the wormhole to creating everything that you guys want in that space of lit up and fun. So, which actors, actresses, performances, writing, what do you consider to be dangerous? What are some examples of dangerous performances to you guys? Write it out in the comments. I want to see what you guys see. I consider Laura Linney a dangerous actor. I consider Parker Posey a dangerous actor. Now, think about it like this. When you're thinking about an audition, think about out-dangering your competition. Does that make sense? Out-danger them. Have the bravery to make emotional choices that are more dangerous and gutsy and brave than the other people going in for that. Remember, one of my really good friends and another teacher at the studio, producer, writer, actor, Alex Ashinger, said, stop trying to control what other people see. You can't control what other people see. Let that go. You're never going to control what other people are looking at, so stop trying to control that. You do your own thing and let them see what they will. Ellen Burstyn, Ted Elric, I love that. Ellen Burstyn, man, that is brilliant. She is one of the most dangerous actors in history. April Linscott, Jason Bateman, Jordan Wood, Christian Bale. Thank you guys. DiCaprio, Arthur, Gortsunian said Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh yeah, Martin Davis. Oh, Martin Davis, God bless you. You are everywhere and you stand out in such an amazing way. Martin Davis said Jeffrey Wright and Denzel Washington, 100%. Oh man, Vincent Cabrera, Phoebe Waller-Bridge. One of the actors on that show I've worked with in the past, Sean Clifford. Sean Clifford plays Phoebe Waller-Bridge's sister in that show, and she's also a dangerous actor. Malu Omyanga, she said Benedict Cumberbatch. Man, you guys are just Lewis Hurt, Al Pacino. Yeah, this is fantastic. You guys, okay. You guys know what I'm talking about. You get it. You get dangerous acting. Seth Godin, one of my favorite authors, said this, and I love this. It makes me smile every time I see it. A knife works best when it has an edge. To take the edge off, to back off, to play it safe, to smooth it out, to please the uninterested masses, it's not what a knife is for. I'm going to say it again because it's a really powerful quote. Your ability to make dangerous emotional choices is one of the sharpest tools in your toolkit as actors. And it's one of the sharpest tools in your toolkit as human beings in engaging with other people. Seth Godin said this, a knife works best when it has an edge. To take the edge off, to back off, to play it safe, to smooth it out, to please the uninterested masses. It's not what a knife is for. Your job was not to play it safe. Your job was not to go in there with your tail tucked between your legs. Your job was not to just be afraid. Your job was not to just go in a room and hope and think, I hope they like the way I look, but I don't want to stand out. You can't afford not to stand out. That is the name of the game with getting to where you guys want to get to. And as I said before, one of my great new friends, Scott Takeda, a multi-Emmy winning actor, writer, producer, said it's like getting from point A to point B used to be this far. And now, because how everybody has been brought together by everything going on, it's like connecting and getting from point A to point B is like just like this. It's like we've sort of bent space-time, and you guys can do it. Dangerous acting is having the ability to bring yourself to every performance. It's having the ability to bring you to the performance and to ask yourself, not how do I play her, but to ask yourself, how can I relate and identify? Not because I've had that experience, because we're all human animals capable of relating and identifying with an infinite amount of experience. So it's having the bravery to bring yourself, to ask yourself these questions. Under what conditions would it be possible for me to feel this, for me to do this? Under what conditions? Because you cannot create a humanity and a soul that is more interesting than your own. Melissa Bruder said this: the person you are is 1,000 times more interesting than the greatest actor you could ever hope to be. So don't hide from yourself. I talk about that with regards to Ron Perlman. I even talk about that with regards to my client Zoe Deschanel over the years, is in letting your freak flag fly. Hey, everybody, don't be afraid to look like an asshole or be a freak. It's what I tell the actors at the beginning of all the classes in our warm-up. Don't be afraid to look like an asshole or be a freak. It's really, really important. I want to bring you now into this. Robin Williams, who I deeply miss, said this. And it's one of the most beautiful quotes on acting I've ever heard. Stu Chaikin, great to see you, man. Yes, Seth Godin is a mandatory daily read. Robin Williams said this: you guys are so wonderful, by the way. Thank you for being so engaged and invested. And I know you guys love acting. And I'm so happy to connect with you guys like this. So thank you for being here. Remember, you guys are all invited to attend a free audit in one of our weekly Zoom classes. We're in Hollywood here, but it's to anywhere in the world you guys can attend. And you can reach out on the website, www.josephpearlman.com, Pearlman.com. Follow us on Instagram at Joseph Pearlman and Twitter as well. And when you guys come in for a free audit, or if you have come in, you'll be invited to watch the conversation between me and my friend Sarah Jackson, celebrity manager, responsible for launching some of the biggest careers in Hollywood. We had a blast in a 1,000-person Zoom session taking questions and answers. Robin Williams said this: I don't know the great secrets of acting. It's like some sort of Zen concept where you finally say, okay, what you think of as acting, don't do that anymore and stop. If you just relax, listen, be in the scene, you won't have to worry about finding that one funny line or acting. If you just don't interfere with yourself, you're quite interesting. People will register your thoughts and they will pick up on what you're going through because your face is accessible. And you'll be in character. The audience will be following along. The most important thing is for an audience to follow the character through. Don't do anything, and you'll be amazed how much you're doing. Don't do anything, just talk. Everyone is driven by some deep, 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 deep secrets. And finding that and all the other emotional work, finding that for the character gives you that which drives it through. And I say makes it so you don't have to do anything anymore, so it feels effortless. Yeah, I always got to take a moment to let that sink in, because I think those are some of the most beautiful acting words that I've ever read. And I hope you guys enjoy it too. And I want to share with you guys some other inspirational stuff too. And I hope this has all been inspirational. You guys inspire me. All I want to do is inspire you guys. At the end of the day, what's the point of this? I also wrote something yesterday, put it up on Instagram. It's like, you guys, we're all in the same boat here. Okay. So come into the conversation as a colleague, come into the conversation as an equal with production, with casting. We're all in the same boat. We're all pulling on the same string here. All right. Like I said, great industry professionals never want you to please them unless they have something they're trying to sell you. Your job is not to please somebody. Your job is to do great work and to be the great human beings that you guys are. And to not come in with any desperation or any baggage or any wants or needs, to establish that you're fun people to play with. Something Jordan Peterson said, he said, there's a monstrous element to the human psyche that you need to respect. There is a monstrous element to the human psyche that you need to respect. That is a part of you. You should regard yourself in some sense as a loaded weapon. Now, Jordan Peterson, I know, is a controversial figure, but he spoke this with regards to psychology and human behavior, and I thought it was fascinating. He said there's a monstrous element to the human psyche that you need to respect. That is a part of you. You should regard yourself in some sense as a loaded weapon, and I love that, you guys. You should regard yourself and your potential and power as actors as a loaded weapon. Having a fixed idea about how to play the character stops the process of discovery, a process which always leads to the dangerous and brave performances. So let go of your concepts of how to play the character. And just know that the most dangerous choices are always discovered. They are always grown. I want you guys to be a part of the work, to come watch for free, to choose one of the classes to watch, because we discover the hook of a character. And it's so exciting. You can never find that hook. It's the product of about 99 questions that don't feel like work. It's all fun. And the most dangerous choices always find you. You always fall back into them. You never find them with your head. So let go of these sort of painful backstory exercises where you're writing stuff down and you're solving problems in your head. There's nothing wrong with doing backstory exercises, but do them out loud. Don't do them quietly. Discover. Remember, your emotional words create your reality. Your words create your reality. Your emotional words create your reality faster. And I'm going to, before I get into, it's a good question. What if Edric, what if the director doesn't agree with your dangerous choices? How much do we rein ourselves in? Well, here's the deal, you guys. Stop trying to please the uninterested masses. And I get this note all the time from director, production, and casting. You can always pull somebody back. It's so easy, but you can never pull that brave, dangerous choice out of her if she didn't have the bravery to do it to begin with. Does that make sense? It's let somebody pull you back, but not think, what if they don't like it? And what if he doesn't like it? It's like, have the courage of your convictions, do the choice. And if you're great, somebody will always take the time to pull you back if they want to pull you back. But you can't afford not to be under the influence of dangerous emotional choices all the time when you're acting. And so that's part of remember, I've told you guys, there's all these mind viruses out there, all these stories of suffering and fear about what if somebody gets mad. Don't go into a conversation, as one of my great friends and actors, Nikki Neufeld, said, don't go into any conversation with the expectation of a no. Why would you go into a room, an audition, or on set, or a phone call with the expectation? So let it go, you guys. Nikki, if you're here, thank you for those beautiful words, and I really appreciate that. I want to leave you. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk a little bit. Kat, thank you so much. It's amazing for me to be able to do this with you guys. You guys are so terrific. Martin Davis. Oh, thank you, Martin. Yeah, Martin's been a part of the work as a balcony member and stood out. I mean, it's so incredible how you guys stand out to our industry guests that we have during the week. Martin, you are such a standout. Orson Welles said this: I think acting is like sculpture. It's what you take away from yourself to reveal the truth of what you're doing that makes a performance. A performance, when it deserves to be considered great or important, is always entirely made up of the actor, him or herself. I'm going to say that again. I love that. A performance, when it deserves to be considered great or important, is always entirely made up of the actor, him or herself, and entirely achieved by what he or she has left in the dressing room before he or she came out in front of the camera. There is no such thing as becoming another character by putting on a lot of makeup. There is no such thing as becoming another character by putting on a lot of makeup. There is no such thing as becoming another character by putting on a lot of makeup. You may need to put on the makeup, but what you're really doing is undressing yourself and even tearing yourself apart and presenting to the public that part of you which corresponds to what you're playing. And again, you don't have to have experienced it. We are infinitely capable of relating and identifying. And Orson finishes with this. And there is a villain in each of us, a murderer in each of us, a fascist in each of us, a saint in each of us. And the actor is the man or woman who can eliminate from him or herself those things which will interfere with that truth. I love you guys. I want to, and thank you for, again, hanging out. I hope to share that incredible video with you guys. So do come through on the website, send us an email, schedule a free audit. You guys are so welcome. Nikki, I'm so glad you're here. I love that quote, and I was really happy to share it today. I think I said it right. And I can't wait to work with you on Monday. I want to take a couple questions, you guys. We'll be back, as always, next week at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. UK time, I figure it out because I can't figure it out in my head, maybe 7 or 8. Shauna, you are so welcome. Boma, thank you so much. And let's see, how do I sign up for the audit? Go to my website, www.josephpearlman.com. Perlman is spelled Pearlman.com. Send us an email. You can sign up for our free acting and career tips. And just send us an email, and our incredible studio manager is going to send you everything you need to sort of sign in from wherever you're at in the world. Again, Zoom classes from anywhere in the world to where you guys are at. You can now be a part of the highest level training. And yeah, so go to the website, follow us on Instagram at Joseph Pearlman. And I look forward to sending you that recording of that incredible conversation with celebrity manager Sarah Jackson. So just hit us up on the website, follow us on Instagram. And yeah, thanks, Taylor. Yep, absolutely. There's a sign up form. Go to the website. You can sign up. And yes, we do exercises all the time on trusting yourself with the work and letting go. And you got to think about, to really get to this level of work, you have to embrace a certain level of chaos. I want to see if I can find this beautiful quote because it totally relates to dangerous acting. There is one of my favorite musicians is improvisational pianist Keith Jarrett. And those of you that don't know Keith Jarrett, he is one of the most incredible jazz musicians to have ever lived. And all of his concerts are completely 100% improvised on stage. He's this awesome freak. And he's really funny because if you cough or you make any noise during his concerts, he'll stop and like single you out in the audience. But a lot of the great artists I know are wonderful, lovable freaks. Isn't that why we do this, you guys, to like connect with a community of like-minded freaks like ourselves? Keith Jarrett said this: to do the work that we do, to embrace the chaos, to let it go. He said, you have to be insane. You have to be out of your mind. You have to allow yourself to be out of your mind because it's an impossible task. I love that he said that. Yeah. Yeah. And he also said this: the more experience a person has, the more simplicity is profound. It's just beautiful. He's one of his famous concerts. You can look it up, is the Köln concert, K-O-L-N, Köln concert. It's just so beautiful. We have it on vinyl, and my daughter loves listening to it. How dangerous should your choice, Connie Chen, this is such a good question. How dangerous should your choices be for a small role that's not intended to stand out? This comes up all the time. I'm so glad you're mentioning it. I think the fear and the mind virus and the story of suffering is, if I have a smaller role, if it's a co-star role, if it's a one-liner, if it's a commercial, well, then I don't want to stand out. I just want to sort of dissolve into the background and hope they like the way I look. Hope they like the way I look. Wrong. You always want to make choices within a framework. You always want to make choices, okay? Don't think of making these brave choices as being massive or huge or breaking the glass, of the style of the piece. You always want to figure out and ask this question: what is the structure that I get to go crazy inside? Sean Penn talks about this. Sean Penn also studied with my mentor, Jeff Corey. and was in and out of class when I was with Jeff. He said, what is the structure that we get to go crazy inside? You have to establish. Sometimes you're going emotionally crazy inside of a smaller structure, but it is always your responsibility to make high-level choices. And I do recommend, Connie, that you come and watch a class so you can see some of those shorter pieces and how we guarantee a win in the audition room, but you should never be backing off. Remember, somebody can always pull you back, but they can never pull out a brave choice if you didn't have the guts to do it. So don't buy into that. Yes, smaller roles, you have to, you don't want to, you're not trying to, rev it up or blast it out of the park or outshine the lead actor, but you definitely want to be making you better be making dangerous emotional choices. That's how actors guarantee a win, which is book the role, get a callback, or someone falls in love with you as an actor and a person that they bring you back in over and over again until it books. And again, you guys, this is just, I'm not just giving you my opinion on all of this. I've had a really cool, I'm lucky to have this 35,000 foot view on this process for many years, and to have so many incredible friends, colleagues, extended family of the studio who are producers and directors and casting directors. And it's just everything that they are saying is what I am saying as well, too. I remember one of my good friends, one of the great commercial casting director, Lisa Fields, used to work in the same complex as her some years ago. She said it's like, even with commercial casting, she said the most awesome thing you can do is make a brave choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, make a brave choice. Don't just go in there and do nothing. Let's see. Again, Nivea, I think I've covered this, but I'll read it again. It's a good question. Does a dangerous choice mean that even if what we choose to do is totally different from what the script says, we should do it, even if it goes against everything? Yes, that is what I'm saying. And I'm saying it in so many ways because I want you guys to thoroughly get it, because of the mind viruses and the stories of suffering and the fear out there that we are supposed to emotionally obey the text, when in life we don't do that. And what happens when you do that is you have a writer watching your work who always says, oh my gosh, that was incredible. I never knew that about the writing. I love it even more. It happens all the time. I am giving you guys permission to give yourselves permission to stop obeying the character description, to stop crying on cue, and to do your version of it, which you're never going to find in your head. So I want you to come watch the process. Watch the actors having an undeniable transformation every single time they get up. If it's possible to have a breakthrough every time you get up and work, why are we not doing it? Why are actors not having it? Come and watch it. And I want you guys to see what we're cooking up at the studio. Let's see. Yeah, this is a good question. Landon, how far can you go with dangerous acting choices? What's the limit of going too dangerous? That's why it's important to have a group of your peers that you're getting a high-level professional workout with every week, because sometimes it can go too far, but you don't know until you try it. Does that make sense? You don't know until you try it. You can always pull back, but it's important to explore the outer limits. Again, one of the first questions you're asking yourself with any piece is like, how much room do I have for fun? How much fun can I have inside the structure of it? How crazy can I go inside of this? And I really do want to give you guys a gentle nudge to just trust yourselves and just fly off of that cliff of danger. That is the only way you're going to get from this point to the point where you guys want to get to launch your careers, to get those series lead level roles, to take it the next big thing for you. Remember, I said it in a past video. Jason Bateman said it in his, I believe it was Emmy acceptance speech to actors. He said, you're just one job away from the next big thing happening in your career. And what is for you will not go by you, but you need to reach out, grab it, and make dangerous choices on this. Otherwise, some other actor is going to get it with a dangerous choice. They're going to out-danger everybody else, and they're going to take that role, okay? Philip Seymour Hoffman talked about it with regards to acting. And we are currently working on a book. That is such a good question. I'm so excited. All of this is going to be in the book and the acting work, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys when it's ready. As you guys know, writing can be a very intense, painful process. So it is something that has been in the works. And yes, good. Let me see if there's some other questions. Yeah, let's see. I've actually, Alexandra, it's a great question. Apart from mass submission sites, how do we go about getting great auditions without an agent or a manager? Well, I've talked about it quite a bit in some of the other videos. So if you can like work through, and it's fun, it's not work through the other videos that I've collaborated with Backstage on, I talk about that in great length. Awesome, you guys. Thank you so much. I have had so much fun with this one. Please do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. My gosh, you guys, it's like, why were we born to do, like, we weren't born. We don't get up in the morning to play it safe, to back off, to dull the edge, to please the uninterested masses. You know, like, think of acting like great music. Think of Jack White as one of my favorite musicians. And I always think of like this song, Jolene, one of my favorite songs. And it's performed by three great performers and many others too. But Jolene, performed by Jack White. You can go YouTube that because it's freaking brilliant. Jolene, performed by Ray LaMontagne, and then Jolene, performed by Dolly Parton. They are completely different songs with the same lyrics. They are all freaking brilliant. That's how you guys need to think about this, is what is the Jack White level? You know, why are we afraid to, as Bryan Cranston said, lift your leg on it, leave your mark? Ron Perlman described it as leave your thumbprint on it. I want to leave that monstrous thumbprint on the role, as if to say, you know, like as if to break it for anybody else. So they see you and nobody else. Go forth and conquer. Go forth and rock, you guys. You got this. And I cannot wait to connect with you guys in one of the classes, either in masterclass this week or next week. And in next week's video, please take the most beautiful care of yourselves. Know that we are all connected. Know that we are all in the same boat with this. And until next time, you guys, thank you very, very much. And Backstage, thank you very much for doing this. Take care.